family members, those of you that can contribute, that would be a great thing. It would definitely be something positive if you can do it, if you can afford it. If you can't, everybody understands. But Ray, go ahead and please put your family's info up in the jumbotron so everybody can see it too. And just for a second, just let people know where they can go ahead and they can send that to.
Absolutely. I'm working on. Give me just a second. I'm trying to figure out how to do it. I'll be honest with you. I'm not very tech savvy. Like most of the things that I put up are just things that are like already on social media. I'm just trying to figure it out.
If you tweet it out, then you can always when you share it, you can share it right to the space. That's the easiest thing for me. When I tweet something out, and I just go ahead and I hit the share button, and you can share it right into the space. So that's the easiest thing that I go ahead and we try to do like this right here. So that's the easiest that I found out.
Okay. Well, I just explained to everybody real quick. So, I said it numerous times. I'm from Valdosta, Georgia. That's where I was born and raised. And my cousin, she was at work. No surprise, let everybody know she was a stripper. So, she's at work, whatever, and she had a boyfriend that, on and off. And she had like this toxic relationship with him, fighting and carried all this stuff. And he came in there, they had an argument, he put out a gun, and he shot her in the heart and killed her. And shot another girl too, but she survived. So it's just stupid stuff, and I hate to even deal with. This is the first like official murder I've been involved with in a long time. I've had other family members get killed and stuff, but it's just sad because she was I think 28, 29 years old. She's got 4 kids. The youngest is like I think 2 or 3 years old, and she just lost her daddy last year. Like my first cousin, he died. He had some type of stomach hemorrhage or something, so he ended up dying last year. And just 2 weeks ago, she was talking about how much she missed him, blah blah blah. We were just chopping up talking, and now this happened. So it's always something going on, crazy family. So give me a second. Let me see if I can figure that out.
No doubt. Prayers of you and your family, brother. Y'all try to hang in there. Ray, you go ahead and get that. Then I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to pull up this article real quick. Very short article for Black Enterprise. It's talking about the actual situation. That's the actual topic tonight. One of the actual Black Lives Matter leaders. He's been accused of siphoning funds. We're just going to touch up on that, have a nice conversation on that. Anybody that wants to open up and grab the mic and have anything to say about it, they're more than welcome to come up. Just go ahead and request to speak and raise your hand, and we'll go ahead and we'll get to you and let you go ahead and say what you want to say. So we definitely going to get on that. I'm going to actually be looking at that article. I got that article bookmarked, so I'm going to go ahead and pull it up. Ray, just let me know whenever you're ready or whatever. And I can go ahead and I
think I just got it.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I don't like being the middleman when it comes to money and things like that because that's just I've always stayed away from that. So that is her mother. That will go directly to her. I don't want anything to do with that.
No doubt. And like I say, for those who can support, please go ahead and support. Also, Brother Ray, he's going through, just like anybody with family, they're going through their time right now. So definitely send your prayers and your love out to the brother. We definitely, Ray, hope that everything, I know this is a tragedy, so I don't really have the words to really say, but, I just hope that everybody, can find some peace of mind, man, including yourself. So just hang in there, stay tough, man, and, just stay as grounded as possible. And then, like I said, I truly feel for you and your family at this point right now.
I appreciate it, brother. I really do, man. Like I said, we all go through it, man. We're going to get through it, man. It's just, tough times don't last. Tough people do.
Definitely. And I'm going to get to this article, y'all. This is, let me go ahead and find this article, and I want to just read it real quick. It was, like I said, it was published by Black Enterprise. It was curated on the Newstoter platform. I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to read up on it real quick. Title, it says, lawsuit filed by activists allege BLM leader, I believe the name is Shalai Moore Bowers, siphoned $10 million in funds. So, according to a new lawsuit filed by Black Lives Matter activists on Thursday, the nonprofit's new head Bowers has been accused of having siphoned over $10 million in donation funds to bankroll his consulting firm. The New York Post reports that Bowers, however, denies the claim and says it is a mere show of force by resentful activists who want to seize power. Mr. Bowers decided he could not let go of his personal piggy bank, reads a lawsuit filed in the Los Angeles Superior Court. Instead, he continued to betray public trust by self-dealing and breaching his fiduciary duties. Instead of using donations for its intended purposes, Mr. Bowers diverted these donations to his own coffers and intentionally took calculated steps to prevent those same resources from being used by BLM for on-the-ground work movement, for on-the-ground movement work. Bowers became the new leader of Black Lives Matter Global Network Foundation in April, and since then has allegedly redirected millions in donation money to his own Bowers Consulting firm. According to federal tax documents, the Bowers Consulting firm has received over $2 million from BLM Global Network Foundation in 2021. The suit additionally claims that assets were also taken from a new group by the name of Black Lives Matter Grassroots, Inc. Per record filings, Black Lives Matter Grassroots, Inc. was formed 3 months ago in California, and they reportedly represent the local chapters in the U.S. It's worth noting that the 3-month-old group was founded by lawyer Walter Mosley, who also drafted the filings against Bowers. Bowers remains adamant that the California State University Pan African Studies professor Melina Abdullah has spearheaded a group of disgruntled activists who are hell bent on achieving power and control of the movement. It's the most insane thing I've read in the court pleading, and it's signed under penalty of perjury when they know it's a lie, Bowers told the outlet. He also mentioned that the organization has been subject to audits that confirm $10 million has not gone to him nor his firm. The foundation board of directors' misappropriation of funds have previously made headlines as recently as April when former co-founder Patrice Cullors was accused of using healthy donations raised for the social justice movement to buy a $6 million California mansion in cash, dubbed the campus. She has vehemently denied all allegations. Okay. So, of course, this isn't the first time that Black Lives Matter has been called out for taking funds and resources. Like you say, back in April, you had Patrice Cullors, and they were talking about all of the many things that she had done with the money and whatnot. Of course, she has definitely come out and said that that's not true. So now we have another situation with another prominent Black Lives Matter head or leader or whatever that's supposedly taking $10 million, pushing it back to his consulting firm, which he says is actually not true as well. So the steam and the power in the movement that the Black Lives Matter seemed that it had got when George Floyd died, and all of the actual loans and grants and free money they were given seems to be at this point becoming really, just the talk of the town. You're constantly hearing allegations about people defrauding, people stealing, people taking, people misappropriating funds, people pushing funds into other companies and businesses and this and that. So you really don't really know the insides and outsides. We're hearing this from second, third reports. Black Enterprise, like I said, they're the ones who actually published this article. I don't know exactly where they got their sources from it, but like I said, it's becoming major news. You're having people, and even I heard sometimes I even heard that you had people up as far as Canada, I believe, that had it was houses and stuff up there. So it just from my opinion, it seems like you're having it's a lot of talk about what this money's going to and this and that. How much of this money is actually going back into black communities, actually creating programs or things that's benefiting black people themselves? We really don't hear that. What we are hearing is that you're having a bunch of leaders coming up, taking this money, siphoning it, using it, and basically living it up off of, funds and donations that people are giving, trying to actually help people, actually help a cause and push an agenda, which right now, seems to be going in a lot of people's pockets. So I'm never really one to go ahead and just, label somebody as a crook or a thief or whatever, unless there's actually hard evidence. Because we know one thing that history's taught is that whenever you do have a black organization, you have some kind of black brain trust or whatever, it's easy to go ahead and plant stuff against them. It's easy to say that they're this and they're that without really having any proof to really back it up. Now, I know a lot of us will say that Black Lives Matter also was never really a black run organization, that George Soros and some of these other radical liberals or whoever were the ones who actually funded them, who actually spearheaded the actual their agenda and whatnot. So this is really, really a dicey situation. I'm sure if we have this report coming out about Bowers, that there are going to be many more to come, just like it was with Patrice Cullor. So, if there's anybody also in the space that heard anything or that living in any place where they're talking about the actual some of this information about Black Lives Matter or anything that they have any information that they would like to share with us in the space tonight, please feel free to actually request the mic and let us know. Because like I said, we're really hearing this from third, fourth party sources. We really don't know exactly the logistics of this. This is what people are reporting. This is what people are saying. You never really know unless you really have somebody inside. So at this point right now, the Black Lives Matter name is being really tarnished. You know, like I say, I was never a big proponent of Black Lives Matter for the simple fact that I felt that a lot of the things with Black Lives Matter, yeah, I just felt the organization wasn't black run from top to bottom. I felt that it had too many outsiders that had too much say that was determining how things were going to be pushed, the agendas and this and that. So I never really was one that was totally. I liked the name. I felt the name was positive. I felt the name was powerful. Black Lives Matter. When you hear that, it instantly grabs your attention. But I always felt like it was always a certain agenda, just something just something that was being pushed. Whenever you start having these far left agendas and whatnot, a lot of times they use black people as a mascot and as a token to push this stuff. When actually their agenda has nothing to do with black empowerment or black help or anything like that. It's always some other thing that black people need to go ahead and support. So I got Ray and I got Black Intelligence. So Ray, you go ahead. Or we let Black Intelligence go ahead and then Ray, you come and get it.
Appreciate that, brother. First off, thank you for holding this space, and I want to also give out my condolences to that brother who lost a family member. If anybody can pray for him later on in the room, that would be amazing. But I definitely do want to move on and touch on this topic with the Black Lives Matter activists. I don't have any inside knowledge about this particular situation, but I think it's very interesting that they're coming after this guy. He's pretty much unknown. Most of us have never really heard of him. We've been hearing all about Patrice Cullors and her $6 million house, and we've heard about them being blasted by Breonna Taylor's mother. There were a few other family members that blasted Black Lives Matter because there was a lack of financial support. We didn't see any community centers being built. So where were the actual results from all that money? Now we do know a lot of that money was coming from white folks, because we was already kind of looking in and saying, hey, we don't know how this organization is running, but we all kind of supported Black Lives Matter as a hashtag, but for the organization, we pretty much, are looking from the outside in. But I think it's very interesting that this is not like a federal indictment. It's more so like some people who were former members or maybe some disgruntled people who may have falling out with leadership. They was trying to climb the ladder and didn't get where they wanted to get at, and so they're now trying to file a lawsuit. So it's very petty, and it's a shame. I mean, it's embarrassing for them as an organization to have this legal battle going back and forth. But it's all a distraction, I think, at the end of the day. But I'm not going to pass judgment on him. I think maybe there was some funds that they wanted to be spent on a particular way. We know that some of the money that they were getting wasn't really even going to black grassroots organizations. It was mostly going to whoever they wanted to support as a candidate or whatever agenda that they really wanted to support on the back end. So that's another reason why they were being called out. But I'm gonna land right there, brother. I just want to throw that out there, and I'll pass the mic.
I just want to speak. I'm an insider. I got inside information.
Wait, real quick, who is that speaking? That's
the Light Joker.
Oh, the Light Joker. Okay. I'm gonna get right back to you, Light Joker. Let's see if my man Ray, because he had his hand up and he's a co-host. So let's see if Ray want to go, and if not, then we'll go to let you go. Ray, you there?
Yeah, I'm there. He said something. I was trying to let him get that last point out before I took over.
Okay, well, Light Joker, go ahead and go ahead and say what you got to say, bro.
No, I'll let him finish just because, I can answer questions. I was involved in everything. So I want to, let everybody else talk, and I appreciate you all for having the space. So go ahead, Ray.
Well, I speak for myself. I never personally trusted Black Lives Matter from the beginning, because the thing is, when something just pops up, because I want to say it's after Darren Seals got killed that the whole Black Lives Matter thing kind of started popping off, and then I started looking around. It went from Black Lives Matter to a different subsect, which was all Black Lives Matter, and then it started moving to these different subsects, and just looking at that, I was like, I don't know. It was just something about it. I just couldn't put my finger on it. That's all I really wanted to say. I just never really trusted them, and I hate to be like that, but I'm kind of glad that this allegation is true. This person was siphoning $10 million. But let's just be real, family. I mean, we got to speak truth to power. If this dude was, getting 10 million, then who else was doing it? I mean, I guarantee it was somebody else who was doing even more and doing way worse.
That's why I said, Ray, I'm gonna get to you like that. That's why I say, we're hearing this from second, third party sources and whatnot. So I know the way that Black organizations are targeted. I know the way that that they put people into things just to screw things up and whatnot. So I want to go ahead and get a brother the benefit of the doubt because I don't really know. That's why I just want to have a discussion tonight. But I just at this point, like I say, I always felt Black Lives Matter, like the hashtag, like the brother said, the hashtag was powerful. The hashtag is what got everybody like, yeah, damn right, Black Lives Matter. When we start kind of seeing the way the actual organization was run and some of the talking points that they had, about Black people, especially Black men, I kind of you kind of had to shy away from that a little bit. I'm like, yeah, well, you want to use Black men to get your funding and everything in place or whatever, but really it doesn't really seem like you have much use for Black men outside of using them as as a talking point or some way to get funding. So I'm gonna go ahead and let the Light Joker go ahead and speak on it. Just let everybody know Dollar Bill that y'all see up in here as a co-host. That's actually DJ. So DJ actually got a new a new profile. So just to let y'all know that's DJ up in the spot as well. So no, it's not. What's up, everybody? What's yourself? But go ahead, Light Joker, you got it.
Yeah, I appreciate it, and I appreciate the space. I'm a police corruption victim, Black. Actually started this current movement. We had a platform originally. We did the mobilizing, we did the organizing. Darren Seals was good friend, man. Probably the guy I talked to the most during the movement. So, I kind of know the history of Black Lives Matter. I know what they've told the public, and I know, their actual history. They didn't actually come up with the phrase. It was a Black man, according to him and them, that actually came up with the phrase. So, they basically just came up with the story to position themselves in front of everybody else to fundraise. So, that's how they, centered themselves and then fundraise all of the money. There was actually a lot of businesses and entrepreneurs, activists, artists, music artists, because things kind of started in the music industry. They helped start things, and so instead of the credit going to the people who actually started things, Patrice and Alicia and Opal and Sean King, D-Ray, other people just made up a complete lie, took credit, and then started fundraising off of that. And they did the same thing to the Brown family, to I'm pretty sure the Gardners, even though I don't know their fundraising details. I know Samaria Rice, which was Tamir Rice's mother. They did the same thing to her. So basically they were using our community to fundraise. They were blacklisting and discrediting the creators, and then they were just fundraising, and they weren't doing the work. They weren't holding the politicians accountable. Some of them, like D-Ray McKesson, he was actually supported by the DNC, the CEOs. You can look this up. Google D-Ray McKesson WikiLeaks, and you'll see the CEOs who are actually monitoring what he's doing, and what he's doing on the ground, and using him to try to influence our community. So when the brother was saying earlier that he didn't really feel they really had a clear plan or whatever. They were reacting to whatever we were doing. So it's like whatever you try to do, they were going to react to. So they never did have a clear plan, other than like basically just hold our community back. And I don't want to take up space. I just want to get certain things out there. But I'm curious. It's like like I don't know what people think. I've been on the inside. We've been trying to get justice and do other things, but I just wanted to put that out there.
Oh, no doubt. And make sure you stay around because, I mean, since you have an inside knowledge, we definitely want to lean on you and just, get your opinion about a bunch of different things. Actually, with the Black Lives Movement, the funding and how they're securing funding and what they're doing with those dollars or whatever, how it impacts Black Americans. So, yeah, just hang tight. Don't go anywhere anytime soon. Black Pressure, I know you lost your connection, so I see you back. So go ahead and unmute your mic.
Hey, what's up to the Black family? What's up, News? You been all right?
What's up?
Good. I'm sorry I had to drop out, man. Dude, let me tell you something. I have a 21-year-old who lives on his own. Man, that dude cost me more money out the house than he did in. I'm like, dude, I had to drop out and send him some money. But, yeah. What I want to say, though, I'm sure most people remember, and I'll say this. I'm not saying he was the first person, but the first person of notoriety to really kind of pull the veil back on Black Lives Matter. I remember a couple of years ago was Judge Joe Brown. He was getting online and he was saying, hey man, look at everybody go to Black Lives Matter website and look at their mission statement. And man, when you read their mission statement, it literally it was like a playbook for Trans Lives Matter and the LGBT movement, and they were against the nuclear family. And people started coming at them. It was too late because everybody had screenshotted it. But in less than 24 hours, when you went to go read it again, they had took it down and brought it back up and totally reworded it. So I'll land my plane there and listen to people that know more about the situation than I do.
Oh, absolutely. And that was one of the main things. Like I say, a lot of people felt that it was just using the deaths of a lot of Black men, especially heterosexual Black men, as talking points and whatnot. But at the same time, that you really didn't really want to do much, because we hear things about the Brown family and other families not getting money after, people using their kids' death, their son's death, as a talking point, as a way of generating funds and getting their name out there as well. So, and these people, you're not giving them any money for it. There's an issue with that there. Ray, go ahead. Unmute your mic.
I was going to definitely say that brother he was saying pretty much what I was saying earlier, how it definitely went from just Black Lives Matter to All Lives Matter to, all these different things. And I just want to point that out that, let me say it like this. So they're saying that this brother's been accused of stealing, $10 million, right? Am I correct? Did I hear that right?
Yeah.
Allegedly. Yeah. So if he's, allegedly taking this much money, don't give them any more money. He needs to answer the question, okay, what have you done with this money? Where have these funds gone? So Black people in general don't support that. You know what I'm saying? Don't let them keep taking our money, especially for something that, something like this. No. Fool me once, shame on me. I definitely don't support them until they can roger up to what happened to all that doggone money. Because $10 million ain't no chump change.
Absolutely, and this is what I wanted to ask the light Joker. What has come up with because I haven't heard anything about Patrice Cullors lately. What's going on with that situation with Patrice Cullors? Do you have any inside knowledge? Because like I said before, this came out back in April. It was talking about Patrice was spending money. Another one, the Black Lives Matter heads, that she was spending money on houses and this and that, and living an extravagant lifestyle or whatever. So, is there anything that you heard to your any knowledge that anything that's going on with Patrice at this point right now?
Yeah, definitely. She's under investigation. It's multiple attorney generals. It's like she's under it's the IRS as well. The IRS, multiple attorney generals. I know Indiana, their attorney general is investigating them. So basically they're investigating them for fraud. Is what I'm assuming. just because they fundraise all that money on behalf of certain things, but like that's obviously not where the money was going to. And I mean, they were just lying. Like they would, they would just fundraise off of people. Like somebody would get killed. Their Black Lives Matter, so they have the brand, and after they, basically like erased the people of Ferguson and inserted themselves, like they just use that brand to fundraise. So like that's kind of how they did everything.
Let me ask you a quick question. How much of that money has actually gone into the Black community and benefited Black Americans? The tens of millions of dollars that Black Lives Matter is getting right now. How much of that money is actually going into the Black community and actually, been put to work for Black people?
I don't know of any of it, and it's not just that, but they use it against us. It's like corporations and companies outside of our community profited off of Black Lives Matter. We didn't, even though we started every aspect, like from, the media space to like on the ground. We got cut out. Everybody else profited. I don't know of anything that's been built. I don't know of any tangible things that have been done. I just know of, the people who told the lies who profited, but I don't know of anything as far as actually, the community actually benefiting. And that's all across the country.
Yeah, because that's one thing that I have an issue with, because you never really hear about, okay, well, this was built off of funds that was donated to Black Lives Matter. Like I haven't heard any, major construction projects or anything whatsoever that they would say, okay, well, this rec center or this nursery or this church even or grocery store, or convenience store or whatever shelter, homeless shelter, was built off of the funds that Black Lives Matter collected. So I'm yet to hear that, and it's been years and whatnot. And you made a point too that when everything with the George Floyd thing, because we can talk about we talk about Breonna Taylor, and we talk about so many brothers and sisters, even going back to Mike Brown and Ferguson. Like, it seemed like the George Floyd thing really was what really galvanized the entire world. Like, it galvanized here in America first, and it was like a powder keg. Like, it just set off a chain reaction worldwide. And you heard about Black Lives Matter before then. But when you had all of the stuff going on in the streets, the protests and this and that, and you tied in with the pandemic and just everything that seemed to be going on at that point in time, that it seemed like it was really the whole thing with George Floyd that really just took Black Lives Matter name into another stratosphere. Like I said, we know about all the other, we know about all of the deaths beforehand, and we know about those afterwards, after George Floyd and stuff. But when that came out, and when that happened, when everybody saw on the actual camera that George Floyd, like how he lost his life and whatnot, with the police officer Derek Chauvin and the rest of them just sitting up there, that really, just took Black Lives Matter off. And Black Lives Matter, we talk about the donations that they get, I know, from like people like just regular people like us in this space, but you're right, they get millions of dollars, corporate donations from all these corporations and stuff like that. When you go in these cities and stuff like that, certain cities have these Black Lives Matter murals all on the street and everything else. And so it became like so many other things in Black culture, it became commercialized. And when it becomes commercialized, and first and foremost, you know who's going to make the money off it when it's commercialized. The same way they were trying to do with the Juneteenth and Walmart and the ice cream and this and that. America, especially white America, mainstream America, say, well, hey, this may be their pain and this may be their suffering, but at the end of the day, this is my cash register, this is my bank here, and I'm going to make sure I get taken care of and I make money from it. So, yeah, we're going to throw them some dollars as well, too, but we're going to make money from it. So that's my whole thing, is that Black Lives Matter. I believe one year it was something like $90 million they took in or whatever. And, everybody was just kind of like, what's up with that $90 million? Where's that $90 million? What has it done? Where has it gone directly to? Who has it impacted? I mean, what the $90 million, what was created from all of this money? So I guess that's just like I have an issue and I have a question about. So that's why I'm asking you, like Joker, like if there's anything, because we talking about at least $90 million 1 year. That's not to mention all the other money and all the other things, because that's just what we know of. So that's what I kind of want to know with that paper trace right there. Like where's the money at? Like where's the money? What is it doing? What is Black Lives Matter doing at this point right here? You know, you're not seeing them as visible as you once did. So what exactly are they doing? What are their plans? And, I mean, anybody in the space that has a answer to this, please, by all means, educate me. Let me know, because, like I say, you don't hear Black Lives Matter. It's more like a hashtag. You know, it came, it conquered, and now it's like it's retired. So what exactly? The only time we're hearing about Black Lives Matter now, every few months, so they talk about people trying to talk about that they're misappropriating funds or siphoning dollars or allegedly, and I want to put that word allegedly, that they're taking money from this and that and that and that and that and that and this. They're getting houses and they're getting this, they're getting that. I mean, so we want to know exactly the $90 million, where is it at?
They just stole the money. Like that's basically all I can say. I can legally sue them for like defamation and for other things, but we're trying to do other things like to help out the community. So like if we got into a legal battle with Black Lives Matter, it may have affected things that we're trying to do now, and we're pretty close to doing things now that are going to help the community. Whereas like other people are still like in a legal battle with Black Lives Matter. So I mean, basically they stole the money. They just flexed, and like they didn't get away with it because they're under investigation, but they just stole the money. Like that's all I can say.
For everybody in the space, make sure you follow the host and the co-host. Make sure you follow us on YouTube. Make sure you follow us on, if you're not following us on Twitter, make sure you follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram as well. Make sure you support us on Cash App, $Newstoter. That is $Newstoter. Once again, that is $Newstoter. And that's the issue that I'm having, and that's the issue as Black people. Now, we saw Black Lives Matter start to manifest right before our eyes. We started seeing, because like with anything that Black people come up with, like you say, you don't. I know you said that they didn't actually come up with the term Black Lives Matter, but whoever came up with it, the term was catchy as hell. It was genius. But here's our thing: we see just how genius Black people creations are. That as soon as you came up with Black Lives Matter, then all lives matter, blue lives matter, and every life matter, whatever. Before they weren't talking about that, but as soon as Black people came up with that terminology, then that terminology started to fit for everybody. Oh well, this person lives matter, that person lives matter, and this and that. So we saw this thing become commercialized in front of us. We saw Black Lives Matter, become almost a mouthpiece for the Black community. Yet, like I say, we as Black people, when they started talking about the corporate donations and this and that and all of the money that these people were going to be getting and this and that, we as Black people didn't come up there and say, okay, Black Lives Matter, you're sitting up here and you're taking all this money. What do you plan on doing? Okay, because a lot of times we're sitting up here and people started forming they'll form these little corporations and these little non-profits and this and that, and they'll start putting it for the little agendas that they want. Okay, this is going to be for Black women. This is going to be for LGBTQ. This is going to be for this or that, but it just won't be for Black people in general. It's got to be like specific. It has to be like little segments of the Black population. It wasn't for like, okay, this is for all Black people. You have Black men getting shot down the street, this and that, but we also have Black women that get killed out here as well too. So let's do something for all Black people, and that's something that I never really heard championing this and that. We can even take it a step further and look at what's his name on CNN, Van Jones. He got all that money. Van Jones got what $100 million from Jeff Bezos. Van Jones pretty much did a disappearing act. And then right around election time, Van Jones comes back, and now he's talking about what Black men and Black Americans need to do in terms of voting this and that. So he took his $100 million, he got ghosts, he disappeared. Whatever the $100 million Jeff Bezos gave him, I don't know what organization or what he's supposed to be doing with it. He takes his money, he runs, and he comes back and he starts giving us lectures on what Black people need to do and what's important to Black people and this and that, and started giving us all these liberal Democratic talking points. DJ, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Yeah, don't forget the 100 million Facebook, aka Mark Zuckerberg, gave to Cory Booker a few years ago for North. North never saw that money. And yeah, you know, Mike Brown mom never saw any money. Tamir Rice mom never saw any money. Philando Castile, you know what I mean? Alton Sterling, Eric Garner, they never saw no bread from that Black Lives Matter. And we should have all picked up on the whole BLM acronym from the moment we heard it. Black Lives Matter, the who specifically. Nobody in this country, to be honest with you, because we see ain't nobody gonna stop killing us from the opposite side.
And that's what I'm saying right there. Like, you just mentioned the names that you mentioned the black people that died, and you don't, and we've heard their family members come out and mention this as well. But you don't have anybody sitting up here saying anything about these black men that got murdered, and that their names are being pimped for money and whatnot, and they're not getting. Nobody has demanded that Black Lives Matter go up there and cut their family at least a $500,000 check, which they got. Okay, go ahead and cut them a $300,000-$400,000 check. Even if you're not talking about $1 million, cut them a six-figure check for all the notoriety and all the donations and all the publicity, all the fame, all the cash that they brought into your organization, because they're dead. Okay, at least let their families, their kids, or somebody like that benefit off of their death, besides just being used as a damn T-shirt. And I don't hear anybody saying that. I don't hear anybody, you know, I have an issue with that nobody, you know, seems to be holding them accountable for that part. Like, say what you want to about them siphoning funds and this and that. You know, I don't know. Like I say, you have to actually see the books and this and that, whatever. What we do know is that the people that died, the people that they spearheaded a lot of these marches and protests and all this other stuff around that, these people, you know, they're forgotten except by you just remember so often you read, so, oh yeah, so and so died back in 2012 or 13 or 15 or 16 or 19 or 20 or whatever. It's like they're just a page in a book, that their lives have no meaning. And that and like I say, you have these organizations up here, but we, as just regular Joe Smo, we need to say something about it. Like, hey man, go ahead and cut that check for these people right here that y'all pimping out. Once again, like I say, and I can't remember the article months ago with $90-some million, man. $90-some million they end up getting. And out that $90 million, you got to wonder, like, where's all this money at? Okay, it's almost so much you can claim this money for this or for that. I mean, you gotta find out where this money's going at, where's the paper trail. Go ahead, DJ.
Yeah, again, like me and you always be talking, bro. You know, black folks don't care about none of this until either one or two things. One, it hit their doorstep, or it's not a turn up thotty ratchet type situation. So black folks don't care. So when you keep reiterating, like, why ain't nobody saying nothing? Because most black folks just don't give a damn. You see what I'm saying? And that's the collective of us. It's only us up there that give a fuck.
Yeah, because I mean, you see it with the people. You see the ones that are talking heads on MSNBC. You see CNN or whatever. They'll mention these articles. They'll talk about it, this and that. But they're not trying to. When they talk about justice for Breonna, when they talk about justice for George Floyd, when they talk about justice for Daniel Wright, I mean, when they start mentioning all these people's name or whatever, like, really the justice. I mean, it goes quiet. Where's the justice at? Like I say, they're not doing anything for the people's family and mainstream. And there's a lot of black media out here too now. We have all these old black magazines and these old black news. Some of these black newspapers. Okay, don't let anybody fool you. Been around since the early 1900s, or 1920, 1930, 1940, whatever. Not saying anything like saying, hey man, y'all need to go ahead and return some of that money to some of these black people. Y'all need to go ahead and invest this money right here into the black community as well. And we're not hearing that. Everybody just sitting up here being quiet about the situation. Go ahead, Ray.
I'm gonna give a slight pushback on what DJ said. I don't think it's that black people just don't care. I believe it's, to me, you know, a lot of people that donate their money, and just in our minds we assume, okay, we're giving you our money, you need to do the right thing. We don't actually follow up to make sure they're doing the right thing, and I think that's where the biggest disconnect is coming from.
Agreed. DJ, you got your hand up. You want to answer what Ray's saying?
Yeah, no disagreement there, Ray, but always keep in mind, majority of that BLM money was most likely white donation, bro. See what I'm saying?
It absolutely
Yeah,
majority white donation. Black people don't have money like that to be giving away, was it $10 million, $90 million, whatever it is? We just don't have bread like that. I mean, if we had bread like that, we'd be solving our own damn problems.
Well, we do have the highest spending power, so but I don't think the majority of that money came from us. And because if it did, I think we would have what Todd is actually inquiring about, more accountability coming from our people. Because you know how it is. We spend our money. We want the best of the best, and we want everything to be 100%. So it's just like well, hey, it wasn't my son that got killed, or it wasn't my daughter that got gunned down by the police. It wasn't my dollar that I donated to BLM. So that's how our folks be thinking. So when I say we don't care, I'm talking about in that matter. Not that we didn't care, about what happened to the specific situation. Also, I like to know.
Okay, I misunderstood you. That's my bad.
Right. You know what I mean? Because if that's the case, black folks, they, black women specifically is my number one supporter. But again, when I say, or excuse me, when we talk about the context, purposes of things, we're not talking about all. But the one other thing is I'll say is when all this BLM stuff blew up, did your particular black city wind up doing paintings like on the ground, like up here in New Jersey, like most of the predominantly black cities like Newark, Irvington, East Orange, Jersey City, I believe too. They painted like Black Lives Matter on certain main streets. They painted the names of the, our black ancestors, now the victims, our folks like Eric Garner and so on the ground, like near Town Hall, City Hall, and all that other stuff. Like, who's really understanding that part of the symbolism? And then, we had a 24-hour peace thing down here in Newark, New Jersey just recently. Peace to who? Joker's going to be right back in the street gunning each other. The mayor's selling us out up here. So it's like, either way you turn, it's like, damn, we don't get a chance to even breathe, man. You feel what I'm saying?
Marketing.
Hey, you made a great point there, DJ. And let me say this part right here. I'm in Tally, so we don't have a majority. We about 35% black, which which is a good black population. Don't get me wrong, but we're not even majority black. But they still threw the little Black Lives Matter thing on the street and whatnot, and had a little Black Lives Matter section and this and that. But like you say, man, and I get what you're saying, that like the vast majority of those people that donated, most of those were white corporations, and you might even have white donors or whatever. But nonetheless, there's still probably millions of black people that did donate, maybe not as much as white people, but nonetheless, whether we donated the bulk of the money or not, the money was supposedly going to the black community for the benefit of the black community. Now, I know you're going to say, this organization or whatever, they're non-profit, so, people are donating, and that's true, they are donating to them, but it's supposed to be for the benefit of Black America. Now, we know that you're going to have you have office space, you have employees, you have insurance, you have this and that, things that you're going to have to use as expenses to cover bills and whatnot. So we know every single solitary dollar is not going to go, to the actual community, because you have expenses and stuff like that running an actual, whether it's nonprofit or not, it's still a corporation. Nonetheless, when you start seeing $90 million coming your way, $100 million and this and that, and we're not building anything. We're not. I mean, we ain't built a shelter. We ain't built a grocery store. We ain't built a dry cleaners. We ain't built anything. They had the money. They can say, well, we're gonna build this grocery store, and 100% of the proceeds are gonna go to paying the people that work here and go back to the community. We're gonna have people in this store right here that's gonna actually be shareholders, and we're gonna support our community that way. It's going to be black owned, black run, black managed. None of that. None of it.
Hey, Todd, I just want to give you a heads up. Secret Sister is trying to come up to speak. I just wanted everyone to know, just for clarity, that it's an error, which is the reason why it's not letting her come up and speak.
Yeah, because she was just up here a second ago. Let me try to see if I can send it to her again. But yeah, she was just up here a second ago. And let me see if I can go ahead and send it to her so the sister can come up here. DJ, go ahead and unmute your mic. Shepard, I see you up here too. So if you want to say something, just go ahead and raise your hand.
Let me see. It was something I did wanted to say. Matter of fact, if you want to go Shepard or somebody else, it'll come back to me because I'm actually over here working at the same time. But go ahead, y'all.
All right, peace to the room.
What's up, man?
I mean, y'all both said everything. What up, Todd? Y'all both said everything I really was trying to say. I mean, it's a messed up situation all around. This erodes the trust that donors have to give money for worthy causes, for causes that are really doing things out here, and like food banks and people that bring all type of toiletries to homeless people and unhoused advocates and those type of situations that are 100% legit and selfless. Flood relief, the water out, the water out. I just seen this. It's just real sad. I seen this a lot of times. This happened to my grandmother. We were rebuilding our house from the flood, Hurricane Floyd. And this contractor came. I had to run back to New York and do something. This contractor came and gassed my grandmother out of $5,000 for something that had to be done with the roof. And by the time I got back, she had already written him the check, and he was ghost. So I mean, there's predatory situations in every aspect of life. But when it comes to social justice, it seems like it hits us harder because you literally are a vulture. Like, you literally are a traitor to like your people. You know what I mean? Like the benefit of your people. It's like, how could you possibly do that? When I feel like working, people call me for opposition research and politics, and because I'm decent at running down numbers and people and reading on nonprofit expense reports and stuff like that. We ran down on this black chick who was stealing from heart disease. She was taking all the money from heart disease, and she wasn't affiliated with it. We run down on a lot of people just by doing the numbers. So it's just, you got to have people holding people accountable. I mean, but the issue we have in our community is like the pastor effect. Like, even when people are stealing, like, they treat them like they're the pastor and they can do no wrong. Well, we have that kind of Christian mentality where, we forgiving. And I think that plays a role into it with Christianity and everything. We tend to forgive. So I got more to say, but I want to hear some other people talk, and I'll get back on.
No doubt. And I just want to say this part, man, like, when you have organizations out there, like you say, on the social aspect, when you have organizations out there, like the ones that's really doing the work, they don't get the donations, they don't get the funding, they don't get the publicity. There's plenty organizations out there. If they had got that $90 million or came across that kind of that amount of money, you best believe they would have put that money to work, and it would have been working in the Black community. It's like, and this is why people in our society, especially a lot of Black people, feel like a lot of this stuff, like, these people are just, are just Trojan horses and whatnot. It's like they deliberately put the ones up here and put them in power and positions where they can be seen or whatever, where they can do the most damage. Not the most good, but they can actually do the most damage to us. So that's a lot of the time that we sit up here and we question, like, well, damn, is this person here just, they just part of some kind of like operation just put up here just to distract our people or whatever? Because we know they're not going to do anything worthwhile for us. And they haven't done anything worthwhile. Good intentions is one thing, but actually going out there and doing good deeds is a whole nother thing. Black Pressure, I know you just put your hand back up, so go ahead and unmute your mic.
Hey, I want to ask the brother, I guess it's Mr. Ray Smith. He brought up an excellent point. Made me think about something Dr. John Henry Clark said about one of the issues in the Black community is that we don't possess any power to punish individuals or groups of people that victimize us. When he said he caught up with the chick that was scamming, like, what were the consequences for?
That was Brother Shepard.
That definitely wasn't me.
I'm sorry. I apologize, Brother Shepard. I apologize.
Yo, so she didn't face any consequences because the Commonwealth attorney didn't want to prosecute her. The police didn't see organizational theft as a crime that they wanted to prosecute. The American Cancer Society and the hospitals that she was juicing for money in their name just cut her off and just blacklisted her. So she kept the money and nothing happened. Matter of fact, she's doing even more scamming now in politics. So nothing happened, bro. Nothing.
And you know what's crazy, Shepard? You and I don't know each other, and you told this story, of course. I knew that was going to be the moral of that story, that nothing happened to her. I knew it.
Yeah, that's something we definitely got to start doing as a community. We definitely got to start vetting the people that jump their ass out of here talking about, oh, I'm the leader of this and I'm the leader of that. And I'm sorry for jumping out of turn because normally I do, try to keep my hand up. But I wanted to say that before I forget it. Definitely, we got to start fucking vetting these people. Like Brother Marcel, he came in here. Anything we wanted to ask Brother Marcel, he answered every question. He told us his background, what he was about. He had a plan put together and everything. I don't mind supporting a brother like that. But these people that jump their happy asses up, just out here that we ain't never heard of, talking about they the leader of us, we got to start vetting these people because if not, we're going to keep getting burned.
Let me just say thank you to Trice for your donation. Newstoter, definitely appreciate it. Definitely appreciate it. DJ and Shepard, I know DJ. I know you probably let Shepard go, so Shepard, go ahead.
I just want to say, the first person that really put it out there. Not to say he was the first, but like I guess on a celebrity type level, and put it out there that the funding, which you were saying before, Tyler, where was it going? It was going to Act Blue, which is the Democratic organization for, that's their funded donor.org, Act Blue. So look that up. And Styles P was the one who put it out there, even though I knew that before. That's why I said, damn, this shit is fucked up. Well, once people get a wind of this shit, all hell gonna break loose. And Styles P was the first one asking, like, yo, why is this money going over here to Act Blue? That's the Democrat. Where's this Black Lives Matter money really going to? Go ahead, Shepard.
I just want to say, D-Ray McKesson, he was working for the DNC. Like, he's not an activist. Like, he's an agent. So, like, he was the one that set everything up. So the funding goes through, like, the DNC, through outside corporations, outside of our community. Like, he was like the key piece. Like, that was who Darren Seals smacked out of Ferguson and who ran out of Ferguson when he had his book tour.
Yo, peace to Darren Seals, man. And peace to all of them activists that got burned up in their cars and killed in the subsequent weeks and months while they was trying to erase the actual real activists and replace them with this Black Lives Matter and D-Ray and these substitutes. I mean, there was a whole swath of murders that happened that nobody really talked about. And I'm glad you brought up Darren Seals because that was literally the epicenter of the movement that generated the money. And he literally and his people were supposed to be the stewards of that money coming in and the recipients. But I saw even back then when they was trying to rush him off the stage, some old heads, when he was really spitting, and they were trying to rush him off the stage. They were like, land your plane, land your plane. I knew it was going to be bad from there. You feel me? But Dad, I put my hand down, let somebody else speak. I could jump up again.
I just want to say, Darren was like, he was my right hand man. Like, we're still bringing things through that like we were going to bring back through all the way back then, but we couldn't because Black Lives Matter. So like he was speaking the truth, and he knew like what was going on in Ferguson, and he knew what was going on with the movement. Even as far as like trying to start a third party. So like, yeah, what you're saying is on point. And he was just a real one who saw what was going on, and he'd already committed to just helping out our people. You know what I'm saying? So he was just supportive of everybody. But I let my plane let somebody else talk.
No doubt. DJ, did you ever? Because I know Shepard had went, but did you ever?
No, go ahead. Yeah. No, I was just saying, shout out to Styles P, who was the one who put it out there. Act Blue, and was the connection to BLM. Go ahead, Shepard.
Yeah. So of course, in an election year, you're gonna have connections with the Dem Party. I'm not surprised at all by that. That's just normal normality because they're the only party that, you know what I'm saying, is even trying to pump fake, listen, on some fake wearing kente cloth type shit. They're the only ones. You can't have no link with Win Red because, they not really trying to hear none of that shit and they pro-police. So it just, if Win Red was agents, they would have to actually listen and pretend to care. So the only agents you won't really be able to point out is fucking Dems, and we already know that they, got their hands in the mix because this type of confrontations and drama brings out voters, and that's their base, and that's just politics. No matter who, what's your ideology, that's just straight politics. There's a way, like at one point I was really looking into the NAACP hard, and I had pretty much ran down all of the biggest NAACP branches across the nation, and I had really was looking into their finances, and a lot of the smaller NAACPs, like maybe 35 different branches, 40 branches, they ain't had no money. And all of the big branches, they had to kick up almost all of their membership to the big branches to pay the salary for the big bosses in the NAACP at the big branches. And the big branches got all the corporate money as well. And they didn't kick back down to the local level. It's really on some mobster shit. I'll land right there. I'll jump back up.
Yeah, that's crazy. Sure on that one, you know what I mean? That's definitely crazy. Go ahead, Ray.
Hold on, give me. Just a second, son, okay? I'm sorry, y'all. I'm talking about. We're going to be for us. We just need to make sure we vet them. And not only that, we need to hold them accountable. If they're going to get our money, we need to say, hey, what are you doing with our money? You need to be transparent. We need to see where all these dollars are going.
You're talking about the brother who got a sniper rifle, aiming it at the Fed?
I think his name was something J. I forget his full name, but yeah, he was actually a security guard for Trump. There's video of him literally doing security for Trump.
Go ahead, Black Pressure, and then Shepard, we'll get back to you.
Hey, y'all would have to search this up, but I think DJ brought it up just now, and I apologize. I can't tell you right where to go. You'd have to search it, but I think it was about a year ago. Jason Black did his podcast, and when I say he broke down all these titan corporations that give money to the NAACP, the Black Caucus, a couple other, Black organizations that are quote unquote supposed to be for Black people. I mean, it was like a 3-hour podcast he did. He broke it all down, and I forgot who said it, but it is like on some some Italian organized crime type shit. I mean, it literally you got the biggest players in the world. You got ExxonMobil, Comcast, Walmart. I mean, these billion-dollar titan corporations that are actually giving money to all these Black organizations. And like we say, we sit back and say, well, why doesn't the Black Caucus say this? And why doesn't the NAACP say this? And why would Black Lives Matter is doing this? Man, these people getting caked by the buckets, man. And like I say, right. I apologize. I can't go back and tell you right where to go with it. If y'all feel like, using a little bit of your time, you probably can find it pretty easy.
He's right.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, they show you where the trail of money comes from. Like, that's one reason why I just sit up here, and not only that, like they said, they get put on these boards and stuff and serve as chair people and this and that. So they just go right along with this stuff right here because they're getting broke off. Shepard, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Yeah, man, you ain't lying. So I'm working on some opposition content right now, and if you see an article about what I'm saying right now in the next week, you know they got it from me. But I because it's public information, I'll just put it out there now. If somebody steal it, oh well. I'm working on some opposition research for Jesse Jackson's son, and he had a mob-like control over beer distributions in 2013, and he got bought out by private equity in Chicago. In Chicago, beer is like a mob racket. So he's the quiet son. I forget his name. It might be Malik. And then he got another son, and then he got the son that went to prison. So Malik and the other son is real quiet. They move with private equity and a lot of billionaires on some real quiet hustling shit using Jesse Jackson's name. So during COVID, Jesse Jackson's son Malik got in with Chicago with Lightfoot and started pushing his COVID agenda. And everybody was like, well, why is this motherfucker coming out the shadows on some COVID shit? He's the quiet one. And come to find out, he tied into private equity that got something to do with COVID as far as making money off of COVID. But that's not all. So if you dig a little deeper into the private equity, which I did, right, they got subsidiary companies. And one of the subsidiary companies is JPay. Well, JPay is the prison industrial complex's way for you to buy music, for you to see your family and visit your family. And they got a lock on all the prison phones and everything. Well, JPay just paid Jesse Jackson Jr. like 7 figures to represent them because they've been scamming people and being predatory over black inmates. So they got Jesse Jackson to wash them in legitimacy. So most of these confidence scams with the old civil rights children and the civil rights people are just to link their children with these corporations. So if you look up JPay, you'll see that they are a monster, and all they do is the middleman, like Apple Music and all these other companies and iTunes that take money from black inmates. So crime is profitable. The more people you put in private prison, the more people that you can make money off of through video conferencing. So, but that's not even all. Fucking, do you know who put me up on all this shit? Bobby Smurda. Now, Bobby Smurda said some shit that made me start the research. He said, yeah, man, y'all ever heard of JPay? He said, he was in an interview. He was like, yeah, man, when I was in prison, JPay had the whole shit locked. I said, when I got out, I'm getting on JPay because you can still sell albums on JPay. And people don't really buy albums, but inmates buy all the albums now because they locked in a cell for 20 hours a day. And JPay is selling rap music. So rap music incarcerates people through learned behavior. Rap music is then monetized through JPay to sell the music back to the now incarcerated people. And then civil rights icons wash the companies that exploit the whole shit. And a $1 billion private equity group is on top of all of that. So that's a little bit of my research. That's about it. That's it.
Hey, that's pretty deep there. That's pretty. I'd have to check up on that and just check up on that myself and actually read up on that. But yeah, I mean, if what you're saying is true, then the shit. I mean, that's that's real deep there. I'm gonna go to Robbie and then I'm gonna go to Black Fresh. Robbie, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Peace. Brother Shepard just blew my mind. Whatever it is I was gonna ask, I mean, he just took it really, really deep, and it kind of answered a question that I was gonna pose. I mean, it may sound like a mundane question, but I think it points to a bigger point of what everybody's saying. When it comes to these fake organizations like Black Lives Matter, do you believe that the majority of the people who actually donate to it are non-Black people? Like the LGBTQ community, white people who have white guilt, and then also there's an incentive, right? Because if it's a nonprofit, then they can say it's a charitable donation, right? And I know when it comes to corporations, it seems to me like the way they got it all set up, interconnected, they're all washing money and allowing themselves also to create tax havens, right? To say that they gave money, which in the end, they're really, it's almost like they're buying their own stock in a way. And I'll land my plane there.
You said something deep right there, bro. When you said that they're washing money, and I think that's something that we all kind of forget about when we hear about the. First off, a lot of these nonprofits are simply set up to wash money, to go ahead and give the appearance of something legal, to go ahead and try to make that money work for them and that. So you definitely said something. I would definitely say that I believe that the ones donating most of this money are non-blacks. That's not to say that you haven't had a significant amount of black people that donated and whatnot, but I think when you say it yourself, like when you're talking about like the actual mindset of a lot of these people, these corporations and these business owners and stuff like that, hey, they're going to go ahead and they're going to try to get as much tax write-offs and tax benefits as possible and whatnot. So why not stick some of your money in there with their money and this and that? So yeah, I mean, you brought up a great point right there. We're gonna get the Black Pressure, then we're gonna get back to you, Shepard. Go ahead and unmute your mic, Black Pressure.
Hey, News, man. The dude Shepard is spit, man. A quick story to piggyback on what he said. I had a cousin that got locked up in Bexar County in San Antonio. He went to the pens, dope. He can't stay out the white people jailhouse. But he actually got transferred to Houston, where I'm at. So he did like 6 years out there in Houston. My cousin graduated from the University of Houston in the penitentiary with a bachelor's degree. And I say, well, dude, with a psychology degree, I say, dude, how the hell are you able to do that? I say, man, I was telling him at the time, I say, with the money I make, I say, bro, I cannot afford to go back to school. So what he was doing, he started sending me pictures of the books that they made available to him, right? So he was like, well, man, this is some of the books that, that they gave us in the pen. So I'm looking this is 10 years ago. So I'm looking at the books. News, man, I'm telling you. All the books that this dude sent me were from a publishing house called Houghton Mifflin Harcourt, because all of them had that on the side. I mean, they were like these books that they use in colleges. So about 4 or 5 years later, man, I'm kind of he's out. So I'm talking to him about it. Look, this publishing house that those prisoners, they provide those prisoners with the books, that publishing house makes, I would say, 90% of the books that we use in our public school system, they provide to the prisons. And like Shepard was saying, these dudes rake in millions from these guys, probably billions. I would say millions, so I won't, exercise any hyperbole. I would say mega millions. And Shepard is right. The more Negroes in jail, the more money those publishing houses make providing them guys books. And I'll land my plane there.
Definitely, brother. And Huffington is the one that put Huffington, I believe, are the ones that do the damn school books and whatnot. I could be wrong. It was Huffington. It was two major ones. Damn, Huffington is one of them, and it's another one that I cannot think of.
McGraw-Hill.
Yeah, say that again, DJ.
McGraw-Hill.
Yeah, DJ got it. That's it.
There you go. Those two right there are the two big boys when it came to all of the textbooks and all the other stuff that we looked at and learned in school. Those are the two granddaddies of them all right there. So yeah, they got control of this thing right here. Shepard, go ahead, unmute your mic. Go ahead, DJ.
Go ahead, let Robbie go.
True, Shepard, for sure. Now, whoever could go talk, I just want to say the McGraw-Hill jokers, they the main ones that's trying to really do the rewriting of the history. Henceforth, the white folks is real up in the rage about CRT, critical race theory, when that's just some made up shit. We just talking about American history, I thought, right? You know what I'm saying? So that always lets you know, ask your white friends when they had these little talks inside with they peoples, you know, and then, well, some of y'all grew up in the hood, y'all white folks, what was y'all doing during Black History Month? What reports was y'all writing on? See, this is why I don't hang with none of my white friends no more, because I got to think like that. You feel what I'm saying? What was y'all doing during Black History Month to say, hey, look, slavery was so long ago, you ain't suffering because, nobody's a slave anymore. I'm not forcing you to pick cotton. Oh, yada, this, that, and the third. Go ahead, Shepard.
Go ahead, Robbie, Black, DGT, I'm good. Go ahead.
Yeah,
I wanted Shepard to cook, and I'll go after you.
Let's let DJ C. He just got up here, so I'm gonna let DJ C. Then I'll let Robbie and Black Pressure or Shepard. Y'all decide who wants to go after that. But DJ C, go ahead and unmute your mic.
I just realized, so y'all saying the Black Lives Matter organization invest their money into the prison system called JPay, which provides albums for inmates and securities or some shit. Did y'all tell me that?
No.
That's correct, bro. And just to add on to that, I've been in prison before, bro, all truthfully. So back in like the 90s, the governor allegedly, Christine Todd Whitney, was the governor of New Jersey. Her husband owned a company called O'Keefe Foods, See what I'm saying? And when the moment she became governor was the moment O'Keefe Foods took over the prison canteen system in New Jersey specifically. So all the food was going through her husband's company. How is that even logical as a politician? I thought that was against the rules to put your peoples on, right? Go ahead, though.
DJC. No, that's not what I'm saying. The BLM had nothing to do with what I was saying separately about Jesse Jackson Jr. and the civil rights grift with the Securus and JPay. So there's totally two separate things. Sorry.
But that still recontextualized a lot of things. I wouldn't be surprised they got some of their donors got money inside there anyway, so that would make them a proxy towards it as well. Like you said, a lot of these organizations, the Alphabet community, bigwigs over there providing money to the I ain't gonna call it Black Lives Matter organization. We gotta call it something else. Everybody got a name? Or black lesbians, like bitch lesbians, making money off of dead black men and Breonna Taylor.
They weren't even all lesbians. They lied about that too.
Yep.
They grifted via Alphabet.
They were definitely Marxists, though. We can all agree on that shit.
Marxism. We could say Marxist. That's the M. What's the B? Bitches. Not good.
Buying large mansions is too fucking old.
Buying large mansions. That's a good one. Yep, that's a good one right there. All right, let me let my play.
All right. Let's go to Rob B next.
You know, I'm sitting here listening to everything that everybody's saying, and I'll just preference my comment by saying this as an observation. I think when it comes to honest businessmen, black men and black people in general, we try to do things by the book, which is oftentimes why a lot of businesses in America fail or they don't earn profits, easily overnight, because it takes a lot to build up your brand, to do all this and that. The third, when I really think about it, especially once y'all make me think about the nonprofit, I can just tell you about it. Sometimes living close to the border and interacting with other communities, I can tell you straight up, it's so obvious, right? That they pick and choose who they bust for drugs, because there are businesses, whether they're massage parlors, car dealerships, you can tell these businesses are just there to exist, to wash money. So it's not just nonprofits. There's a lot of businessmen who are terrible, like Donald Trump, that we sit here and think, oh my God, this guy is a savant. He's a genius. All it is they know how to leash and get government contracts, whether that's state and federal, right? To supply supplies to prison systems and all that. They have all these different leeching mechanisms, and then they have these dummy corporations that are really just there to, I think, clean up drug money. That's why they don't want to close up the border. That's why they don't have no problem with fentanyl being everywhere, because it's like they profit off chaos. They profit off pain, and they're not even really. I think some of us are in a situation where we're trying to legitimately compete with businesses that have generational wealth, that the only reason why they're there to exist is to put up a front that they're really conducting business. But then when you look at their taxes, they're always claiming losses, right? They're always hiding their taxes in these tax shelters, so they pay less in taxes than what we pay. And in addition to that, some kind of way, without the feds, wink, wink, taking too much of a nod, they're able to clean up trillions and trillions of dollars. So, like, how can you even compete with with little clicks like this, right? Like, they won't even sell to you if you have the money, because it's not even about money. It's like somebody mentioned earlier, it's about power, the ability to reward and punish. I think there were some brothers out in California that were going to buy a mall, and the Arabs refused to sell it to them, even though they were willing to pay more than the asking price. So that's what I realized when it comes to this power dynamic. A lot of things are done deliberately because they want to be conservative. They want to keep everything the way it is. And I land my plane here, and I learned this in the military. Whenever there is corruption rampant, it's because someone up top is allowing it, period.
Appreciate that. Guys, make sure that you all go ahead and tweet this link out. Make sure you tweet this link out, so in case some of your followers don't get a chance to actually hear this live, they can actually catch the recording tomorrow. So please go ahead and tweet it out, share it with everybody that you can. We want to get as many people to actually listen to this recording as possible. Also support us on Cash App, $Newstoter, $Newstoter. If you don't have a Cash App, and we have the link with the PayPal and Venmo up in the actual Jumbotron. We're going to go to Shepherd, then we're going to go to Black Pressure. DJ and Ray, y'all hold it down for 1 second for me. Shepherd, go ahead and unmute your mic.
All right. Yo, it's a good conversation, man. Damn. So people think I don't like certain people, man. It's not that I don't like certain people, man. It's just that I see every type of hustle and grift, and I just have lost faith in people, in general. When you follow money and you're decent at it, and you can see how it go from one hand to another, and how people are not doing what they say, you lose a lot of faith in organizations. And when I look at campaign finance a lot. I've had an eye on different campaign finance reports for years, man, and it's just people don't realize that campaigns are the biggest transfer of wealth available to almost everybody who runs for office. So almost everybody who runs for office is somewhat crooked because they dip into that money in ways they ain't supposed to. So if I dipped into some money and I took $2,500 of y'all campaign money, I was running for office. Say I just took $2,500 and I bought a flat screen or whatever, put a down payment on something, and then you check me on it, it would only be like a $500 fine. If 2 years later, anybody the AG even wanted to waste his time with that shit. So there's no accountability in campaign finance. I've seen people right now, some people y'all like, have really fucked over the campaign finance money that y'all sent them. And I ain't gonna get into who, but you wouldn't like it. And people would say, oh, you hating, you pocket watching. But that's what some people do for a living. They keep people honest. So I just want to say that, it's all crooked. When you look at 501c3s, and there's two columns you look at, how much money they spending on programs, how much money they spending on salaries, and how much, there's 3 columns, how much money they spending on making more money. So it takes $1 to make $4. They spend 70% on their own salaries and benefits, and they usually spend 15% on actual programs that the nonprofit is said is supposed to be standing for. So you just lose faith in humanity, like nothing's fucking not crooked. I land right there.
Brother Black Pressure, go ahead. I'll meet you, Mike.
Y'all want to kind of bring something positive into the room. I'm going to piggyback off something DJ said about the people who provide the Hufton that provides all the books to the public school system. He was right when Hufton was trying to go in there and do some revisionist history, calling the transatlantic slave trade, what did they say, the involuntary servitude. Well, I give a shout out to my home state. And it was black people that came together and stood against that and ran the fucking books up out the tank. So just want to say that.
Texas.
I'm back. I missed a little bit of dialogue, so I'm not sure who's up next. Who we got up next to say something, want to speak? Anybody that has it?
Just flowing right now. We was just kind of freestyling. Everybody just being respectful of each other. But yeah, I agree with everybody saying. It's messed up when, these so-called leaders could come out the woodworks and be like, yeah, I'm the leader of this, that, and the third. Yeah, we was doing this, that, and the third, and everybody just blindly giving them their money. Like I said, when I go through a lot of these white neighborhoods, because I be doing deliveries, I be seeing BLM signs still up to this day. Like, damn, you ain't take that down yet? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, black folks can't win for shit right now, man. But go ahead, Ray, if you want to go, whoever want to go.
Now, I just wanted to ask that brother that was just saying about how slavery was, I guess, redefined into involuntary servitude. What state was that?
In Texas. I was going to shout out my state. Black people actually came together as a collective, because I always joke with news and say, I'm the villain, but I'll put on my white hat today. We actually came together, went to the state capitol in Austin, and black people stood against those new textbooks they were trying to introduce into the public schools that were calling chattel slavery, involuntary servitude, and they got them fucking white people out. They got them books out. They ran them books about the paint.
Nah, they did absolutely what they should have done, man, because that's a way of them trying to undermine our history.
Absolutely. I also want to say, Secret Sister, I see you up in the space. I know you tried to get on. I tried to get you on. So if you want to definitely want to come on and speak or whatever, definitely go ahead and request to speak. We'd definitely like to hear from you to talk. So Secret Sister, if you're still up in the actual in the space, definitely, sister, go ahead and request to speak, and we'll definitely get you on to speak. I don't know if it was some connection issues or whatever, but we definitely love to hear from you. Definitely love to hear from you. Insane. Go ahead and unmute your mic, then we'll get to you, Shepard.
Hey, what's happening? Toto, how you doing, man? And to your
what's up now?
All right, to your co-host, Dollar Bill, Ray, what's happening? Yeah, man, enough can't be said about BLM, man. And as we get deeper and deeper into the struggle, man, really, I think our terminology, nomenclature, words that we use should probably change, man. Again and again, it's just a Trojan horse strategy that's being used against us, man. I try to give thought to that in terms of what I've seen happening, and it's constantly that it's a Trojan horse strategy. Historically, it's been used over and over again, and that's what's occurring. So, about all these money washing operations, yeah, I can't agree more with what Shepard is saying, man. Following the money is intriguing. I've been looking at the farm bill, which is absolute tragedy when you consider the amount of money that's given out versus the amount of black people who are relegated to SNAP benefits. A tremendous amount of us getting SNAP, but very little the black farmers are getting. So that right there is just a travesty in itself. Regarding these textbooks, Texas. I read about Texas. The public school system in Texas is doing that, but there are also some so-called Christian academies that seem to order books from a book publisher that is attempting to describe it as involuntary. Is actually they're calling it involuntary immigration. Is another term that they're using to describe slavery, the North Atlantic slave trade. They're calling it involuntary immigration. I had to check a brother about that the other day. This guy's like 65 years old, and he was saying we all immigrants. It's like, whoa, bro, wait a minute. Listen, my people came here in the belly of slave ships. Some of us were here. I'm not getting into that argument, but the people who came here as slaves, and some did. You had cases of women lying in their feces and men, rats eating at them. So we didn't come here, those of us who did, as involuntary immigrants. That's bullshit. We were kidnapped and brought here against our will. So enough can't be said about this topic. BLM, yeah, it's not surprising, and we just got to keep our eye on these things as they arise. Remember the Trojan horse. It's an old story.
Hey, really quick, I believe it was either Brother Shepherd or Black Pressure. I can't remember who. What is that website, if you don't mind sharing, that you're using to track all these donations are going and things like that? Would you mind sharing that?
Yeah, no problem. I think you can use Charity Navigator, and there's another one. Always slips my mind. Give me a minute or two, and I'll remember what it is. Oh, it's Nonprofit Explorer. Nonprofit Explorer. And what you want to do is you're looking up the year of the I-9s. So you got 3 different ways the I-9s are going to be represented, and it really self-explanatory. You got to play with it for a while and get in it. But Nonprofit Explorer.
All right, we're gonna get to you, Shepard. Let Secret Sister. Glad to have you up in the space, Secret Sister. Go ahead and unmute your mic, sister, and share your opinion with us about this discussion.
So this was was it a black girl?
This was actually a man right here that was actually allegedly that they're saying that siphoned something like $10 million from black. Yeah, so this is a few months ago in April, you had Patrice Collins
Right.
the woman they were talking about. Now they're talking about a black male that supposedly siphoned as much as $10 million and putting it into his actual firm and this and that. So yeah.
I know this might sound as ignorant as ever, but I mean, George Soros is funding it, so at least some of our brothers and sisters are getting reparations. I don't know. Is it going down to that? We got to take it. We got to take our reparations like this. So, long as I know a white man is funding it, and or Black Americans as well as blacks anywhere is getting paid off of it, go ahead. And I know that sounds horrible, but I back him.
The only thing I say about that, sister, is that if you get the money and it's supposed to be doing it for black people, I feel you with the reparation thing. That we definitely entitled to the reparation thing. But what I will say, if you get this money, and let's be for real, the money's coming off of the death of so many black men and some black women as well, but mainly black men. But let's just say black people. And go ahead, I feel like go ahead, man, and take some of that money and form a corporation that you're going to use to employ black people and pay them and stuff like that. Do something that's going to be beneficial to the actual black people. Don't just take the money and then, like I said, this is allegedly, so we don't know if this is true or not. So yeah, so I don't want to say that the person did it. That's what I tried to make sure. Like, this is alleged. Nobody knows one way or another. Just like Patrice Collins, and everything is alleged to somebody's actually convicted. So I just want to put that out there as well too. But take that money. Like Black Lives Matter had something like $90 million that they told it, a few years ago that they came across. So take some of that money. Take 30 million of it and invest in the black community somewhere. Create something that's going to create generational wealth, something that's going to create employment, something that's going to create training and education, something that may offer housing, affordable housing, where you got people paying $4,000-$5,000 for some little shack to live in up north, or paying $1,200 to rent a room down south. Put something affordable. Create something. Create a few little what do you call it, quadplexes or something like that, where you can have families coming in and they paying maybe $600 a month for rent. Create something like that that's going to be beneficial to your people. Don't just rip people off.
So what if I mean, because that's what I would do, because that's what we're trying to get away from their system, period. So me, I would buy I mean 60 out, 30 get you 6. So when I say that, I mean I'm gonna take 30 off the top and I'll do six in jail for my people. Just keeps the money on my books. But I would definitely be buying land so that we can get away from them, and then we have contractors. I will start the building of homes, and we will start our own personal government. Like this is what I would do it. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna try to get as much as I can.
Absolutely.
Does that make sense?
Yes, ma'am. And if you're doing that, and if you're using the funds for things like that, then you wouldn't have anybody upset. And even if you had mainstream America try to come out and say, well, if you was taking that money and you was building housing, or you was building something that's going to employ black people and this and that, and let's say $1 million came up supposedly missing or was misappropriated, the average black American would be like, hey man, look, they up here, they housing people, they feeding people, they employing people, they're training people, they're educating people, they're providing insurance to people, they're taking people off the streets, they're taking addicts and stuff like that, and they get these people off of drugs and this and that. Hey man, y'all can go to hell. We cool with that. Like, just let them keep doing what they doing or whatever. We ain't got a problem with that. But when you don't see that, and you're hearing people like Mike Brown, their mom, and some of the other ones coming out saying, well, hey, you use our child as a proxy to sit up here and get funding and get donations and this and that, and you can't kick back $500,000 of these people's families. You can't kick back $250,000. You can't kick back even $100,000 to them. Then yes,
that is true. That is true. But like I said, I'd be doing 6 years. Some time, but it doesn't matter if I'm doing 6 years, their time, because when I get out, hopefully my money will go to good use under the correct, team and get all that. I mean, I want hundreds of thousands of acres. Like I just want it because I want to get away from them. Period. We need our own. Like I would have to say, if I could, I would kick everybody off of here, and we have our own continent. But if we got to go into one room of a house that is 18 bedrooms, then so be it. But I just feel as though that's what I would do, and I would go to jail. I have no problem. But when I get out, I know I'll be into our system. And I know that y'all gonna get a government, you know what I'm saying, that would be fair to FBA family. Like, you understanding what I'm saying? So that's where I would do. I would leave it.
Yes, ma'am. I definitely understand what you're saying. And from what I'm understanding, what you're saying, that you would put that money to use. And that's all we're saying. Put it to use, benefit your people, do something for your people. Don't just benefit yourself. That's what we're saying.
Exactly. So that the people will, be behind you. You understand what I'm saying? I'm not doing this for clout, for nothing, none of that. Because when I come out, I want my family to be, by the time I come out, hopefully homes are built, people are living in them and moving out. Y'all can gentrify all y'all want, because we can ready make our own, our own loaves, our own this. We got it all, but amongst all of us, we could come together, and even if we have to, barter in the beginning until we come up with a currency system, but that would come with the government. But you understand what I'm saying? And I think it would just be great to do us, because we know how to police ourselves. We know how to do everything. Their government doesn't work for us. I'm just saying.
Yes, ma'am. I listen. I'm with you. I'm definitely, like, I'm agreeing with you saying and whatnot. Like I said, we talking about the same thing. Do for self, and by self I mean all of it. I mean doing for our people. Like, don't just be a hog, man, and take the money and just worry about you and your immediate, your inner circle or whatnot. The thing was bigger than you. It galvanized the entire world and whatnot. So don't sit up here and just be a crab and just try to do for yourself and a few of your flunkies and whatnot. And like I say, this is allegedly too, so I want to keep throwing that in there. Allegedly, like, we're not saying,
right.
Yeah.
But is it a FBA person, or what it?
To my knowledge, I don't know. The person last name was Bauer, so I would assume it's a Black American or whatever.
Yeah, that's what. But I don't. Yeah, no. Yeah, it can only be a Black American. The Bowers, yeah, they came from here. I know a few.
We got plenty of greedy Negroes that's Black Americans too. Now we got to always remember that too. It's a bunch of greedy Negroes that's Black Americans that believe, and they have shown for years that they're only gonna do for themselves as well too. So this is definitely not surprising here.
That's our entertainment business. See, if they would just realize that if you do for your people will do for you. That's how you got to look at it. You understand what I'm saying? And as much as you do for us, that's showing us love. So that means we can only give love back. And then, boom, that starts the beginning of healing. You understand what I'm saying? Because we're too busy trying to, fix up or how we want to do our own country, that we don't have time for the bickering and the petty little whatever clout chasing stuff. We don't have time for that, because everybody has to find a place. Vets, I feel or Black FBA vets, they shouldn't have to work. So we got to come up with a government that's going to let them live in one of those homes free. Everything is free to them. They can just walk in, show ID, and boom, that's it. You understand what I'm saying? As well as the elderly, you and the disabled. Those ones, I just feel like that's how we should just automatically have that on our and come up with our own what is that, constitution? You getting what I'm saying?
Yes,
we could use their map, their like schematic of how hey, but we'll make ours a lot simpler.
Yes, ma'am. And I'm gonna get back to you, Secret Sister. So just stay there and chill.
Okay, I'm just listening.
Yes, ma'am. And we're gonna go around the room and we'll come back to you. I believe I'm not sure if it was Black Pressure or Shepherd. Which one of you guys had your hand up first?
Let Shepherd cook. I'll go after him.
All right. This sound like that Dead Prez album that I really like with that song Hell Yeah. We're basically saying if it's the white man's money, go ahead and take it and get your reparations. Now, if y'all ain't familiar with that Dead Prez revolution, man, Dead Prez was on some real thug revolution reparations by any means necessary music. So Dead Prez is definitely a vibe. If you're listening to what the sister just said, she's on that yes, I would take what's his name, Warren Buffett or whoever. I would take George Soros' money. I don't care if I got to do 6 years, and then when I get out, it's gonna be on and popping. So I was definitely feeling a vibe on that note.
Hey, Shepherd, what's name one of the artists with the main name in there. That's some funny shit. Think about that. Yeah.
No, fact.
What's the main dude name? That you see?
What's the name? Shit. If you hadn't said it, I would have had it. Shit. What's the name, man? You put me on the spot.
Start with an S real quick, yo.
You put me on the spot, though.
Stickman, yo. Stickman, yo.
Yeah, Stickman. Yeah. But yo, Black, go ahead. You threw me off. Dollar threw me off. Hey, go ahead, Black. I'm gonna get back up.
No, I wanted to build off what the sister said and what excuse me, Shepherd just said, and this is, I'm just saying this as a formality. I'm sure every Black person knows this. Once again, I'll say this: I have no affiliation with any religion at all, but I will say this: Elijah Muhammad knocked it out the park when he told Black people to do for self. I mean, I don't care if you're an atheist, if you believe in primordial soup, the Big Bang, I don't care. When he told Black people that was genius. But once again, news, I'm gonna be the villain, and I'm gonna be the villain because I want to hear all the Black families' response. And like I said, I'm saying this as a formality because I know every Black person in here knows this just as well as me, if not better. The minute Black people, quote unquote, pull ourselves up by our bootstraps, right? The minute we say, okay, let's do for self. And I could give 100 million examples. I'm just going to give a few. The minute Black people become successful at any institution, and I'll say this, the FBI went after Death Row, they went after Suave House, they went after Ruthless, they went after Rap-A-Lot. Hell, they went after the Nation of Islam. They went after the Black Panthers. Anytime Black people gain any momentum and we get a forward push, like the sister was saying, we could literally go find a continent, run everybody off, and build a successful Black enclave. They would just nuke it. That's all they're gonna do. They just drop a hydrogen bomb on it like they did Hiroshima and Nagasaki. So what I'm saying all this to say, I'm not being negative. But I'm saying all this to say, and you could go back to Black Wall Street, and you could name 100 more Black enclaves that, when Black people got together, became successful. Like I said earlier, like Dr. John Henry Clark said, what would be our method for self-defense once we get shit like that rolling? Because like I said, you could go to a plethora of examples where Black people pulled ourselves up by our bootstraps, air quotes, and became successful. And I land my plane and listen to the responses.
All right. Ray, go ahead and unmute your mic real quick.
I'll let Brother Shepherd go, and then I'll go.
All right, Shepherd, you got it.
Yeah, shit. I mean, you playing devil's advocate. I mean, you doing this shit pretty good because I ain't got nothing.
Hey, yeah. And I'm not trying to, Pam. I'm just being realistic. I'm not trying to.
I was trying to be oppositional and see if there was something that I could see as a ray of hope. You know what I mean? Because you a dark cloud. I was trying to see if there was a ray of hope. I really can't, because in our history that has always been the case. So I mean, you got it, bro. You got it. There will be nothing that won't be touched if we create it and it's successful. Me, I don't like that victim mentality type shit. I try to even think of something that we have created that wasn't infiltrated and dominated. But it's hard because if you know the math, the NAACP was created by Jewish people. The Skull and Bones clone, the Boule, is to be the hand of the king, the white king, to be the order of the king. When we look at Masonic organizations, the Prince Hall, for instance, of which my great grandfather was a member, they copied. They wanted to be a part of the white Masonic order. So everywhere you look, even if you look at Howard University and Hampton University, created by white military personnel, so shit. There's nothing that we can actually touch that won't be infiltrated. I always think of Lake Lanier as a symbol of the desperate lengths that they will go to flood, anything that we do. So, I hate to be negative with you, but I'm gonna land right there. I'm always talking about Lake Lanier because I'm from Georgia. There's actually a place called Oscarville, and they flooded it. But the last thing I wanted to say was about what Secret Sister said. She said something very interesting about the vets. With me being a veteran myself, I definitely agree with what she said. The veterans at bare minimum should have a place to sleep at night. You would have, I'm down here in Florida, and I see vets all the time sitting on the sides of the road saying, hey, I was jumping out of airplanes for my country, and now I don't even have a bed to sleep on tonight. So at a bare minimum, this country should do more to help the veterans, so you don't have people out here killing themselves. I think it's like one every 12 hours or something crazy like that. So if we can send money to Ukraine and for all these other organizations and stuff, I just want to add, I know it's kind of off topic, but we definitely have to do something to help these veterans out here.
But you know what?
That's on topic, man. For sure on that one. Thank you with the veterans. Appreciate your service too, bro.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. I appreciate your service.
Definitely. I want to just go ahead because this brother, he seemed like he was having some connection issues, and he just came back up. So I want to let Black Peoples go ahead and unmute his mic so he can go ahead and speak.
Peace. All I want to
we kind of losing you, brother. Like your connection kind of coming in and out. So could you start back over and say what you were saying? We kind of.
Can you hear me now? Is it better?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. What I was saying was, as true as it is that from Tulsa to Rosewood to Rochester riots, a lot of our establishments, when we try to pull ourselves up, have been burned down. And as true as that is, that doesn't mean that we should allow scammers into the fold. This is not the first time. I'm from Brownsville. Marcus Garvey Thomas Boylan, the descendants of Thomas Boylan, did the same thing. These people keep stealing our money, and capital is the only way to power. We could have 1,500 Twitter spaces, but without organized capital, we don't have nothing. And with people, and even, I get it, it's an allegation, and yes, Edgar J. Hoover, it was an actual memo to prevent a Black Messiah. I'm well aware. At the end of the day, it's not okay for people to be stealing from us. Now, yes, do we trust the FBI to do their due diligence to make sure? Nah, we probably shouldn't. But at the end of the day, there should be a committee to make sure the people that we give our money to have integrity and have intrinsic value, right? They have a high intrinsic value, the will to do the right thing when nobody is looking. Now, I'm not saying that brother actually did what he's accused of, but these accusations of people in BLM taking our money is a problem. It's a problem. It is. And just because they Black don't mean you get a pass to be a scammer. Sorry. It's not how it goes. But I'm going to land right here. Please look up powernomics.com. In the Harvest Institute, Dr. Claude Anderson has the corporation already dedicated just to Black people, and the Harvest Institute is the only Black think tank in America. Please look up, take the surveys, donate. Please. I'm going to land there. Thank you. Peace and unity.
Hey, Carter, let me just, because he just mentioned Hopkinson Avenue and Boylan Park. You said you're from Brownsville, right?
Wow, from Brownsville. Pickens.
That's what's up.
Bristol between Pickett and Sutter.
Yeah. Picking and Sutter, that's what's up. I just wanted to shout you out because, you know, that Thomas Boylan might have went over a lot of people's head. He was a legislator. He did some shit in Africa and Zambia. He was, you know, first of his kind. He was a real trooper, but you got to be a Brooklyn cat to even know who he was. But so, peace and love, brother.
Peace and love. Peace and love. I appreciate that, man. I really do.
Everybody been dropping some serious knowledge tonight, y'all. I want y'all just to know that. I mean, we definitely try to have these informative spaces right now. So I love to have a bunch of people coming in here and just going ahead and just building and whatnot. So we try to keep the informative spaces, and I appreciate everybody once again for coming in and making this space here a lively one and a good discussion tonight as well. So definitely appreciate everybody's contributed to the discussion tonight. So thank you all once again. Secret Sister, go ahead and unmute your mic.
I was just wanting to say this one thing. Remember, we're all hopefully going to be celebrating Arutsussi, right? And if we're celebrating that, we're gifting books or education, things. So it would be nice if you could start a what is that, a poll, like somebody pulled the other person's name out the bag, and that way we could start, getting to know each other. Are you getting what I'm saying? What do you think about that?
I'm sorry, sister. You saying basically you saying trying to connect with people by with their names or something?
No. Like what I was saying was Christmas is Arutsussi. Now we're going to be celebrating that, and I was saying on there the gifts are pretty much you have they're books. So while it's books, I was saying we should have on your thing we should have pull a name out the hat, and then if you pull the first two ones goes to
Santa, like a Secret Santa.
Right. And then that way you hook up with that person and start to, talk to them, get to know them, brother, sister. Are you feeling what I'm saying? And then you get them a book according to help, have us a better community.
That doesn't sound like a bad idea. That's definitely something definitely worth looking into. But I mean, that doesn't sound like a bad idea at all, there, sister. So definitely something that we can definitely keep on the radar and just see exactly how people feel about it and see what's up about that. So definitely seems like a pretty workable solution right there. So we can definitely look into that. Definitely, Shepard. I know you got your hand back up. Go ahead and unmute your mic.
Yeah. So yeah, that's not a bad idea, sis. Definitely brotherhood, sisterhood type idea. You on point tonight. So swing back around to Black Lives Matter and the money, and the accountability. I mean, everybody was saying well, what happened in my situation with the sister that was stealing from heart disease, and what's going to happen with this guy allegedly stealing, and what happened to Patrice Cullors, and her people and her family that she, started putting money in her family members' name. Unfortunately, with nonprofits and the way that she has lawyer money now, they ain't even got lawyer money. They got lawyer team money. They can have 5-10 lawyers. You can't really expect anything to happen with them. You got to chalk her up to Zimmerman. I mean, we just dropped the ball on the point where the people who are scamming the community are in fear of scamming the community. That's why I call it like a Zimmerman. Clearly, if this motherfucker's still walking around, people don't fear repercussions of crossing the black community. I mean, it's just a fact. Unfortunately, we take out our angst on each other more than we do on the true recognized enemies of all of us. So it's just kind of sad. The law really can't do nothing with most of these people. If they have it set up through these nonprofits, they could get it with mismanagement of funds, but you can't expect to see no real repercussions. I want to swing from her to ICE real quick. A lot of people didn't realize.
Hey, Shepard, I was going to ask you. I was going to ask you before you even switch the subject again. What you think about Candace Owens pulling up on Patrice Cullors? What you think of that situation right there? Go ahead, though.
Content stunt, but a good one. Since nobody in the black community saw fit to to use that as content or to be legitimately upset, I'll put it to you like this. This is how we built, and I'm gonna give you 2 examples. It was a white dude in Jersey or Pennsylvania who said he said, I live right here at this address. Fuck you niggas. Blah 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 blah. And the next fucking day, they had to escort him from his house because it was like 100 or 200 black Americans outside his house.
That was Mount Laurel, New Jersey. Mount Laurel.
Yeah, they were throwing shit at him. Why is that? Where?
Not to cut you. I just
hold on. Let me just get this out. Why is that not the same response at Patrice Cullors' mansion? Why is the black community not out there throwing shit at her, and why is she not being escorted? The white community is not going to arrest her and fucking prosecute her the way they did this white man for us if we not out there treating her like we treated that white man.
Hey Ray, just real quick, that's what I mean by like we don't be caring shit. What Shepard said, basically, you know what I mean? But go ahead, brother Wi-Fi, you know what I mean?
Listen, and you know what's so crazy? Just to build on what the guard just said, I'm heavy on the internet. On watch TV, right? I just found a Wi-Fi camera, unsecured, no password, right next in Harlem, right next to the right next to the African embassy. Shit said the name of the camera was Kill Nigga Camera, right? I'm taking pictures of this shit. I'm sending it to these niggas that swear they gangsters down there. Everybody's sending me, I don't know where it's at. I'm sending them GPS coordinates. Somebody did nothing. What did I do? I took the camera down. It don't take nothing. I didn't ask 500 people to go there and go crazy. I just fucked the computer network up. I didn't need any of that. And I feel like more of us need to get used to the fact that it takes regular people to do shit. Just use the shit you know to make a difference. That's it. You don't gotta do nothing crazy. You don't gotta jump out the window. Just use what you know. You don't have to be tech savvy to do that, because any one of them people that ride around and shooting up and terrorizing people that look like them could have walked up to that block and said, yo, what's up with that fucking camera? Crickets. It's crickets. I'm gonna land there though.
Hey, brother Wi-Fi, hit me with a follow back, man. I'm trying to get you up on my gaming system, man. See if we could get this gaming thing going on to secure our black shit up in the gaming universe, because you know the white kids love calling us niggas.
Yo, he said he landed, but it sounded like he in the air traffic control tower.
No, I'm outside on one of mine. It's just crazy. You know what I'm saying? My fault.
I see Secret Sister had her hand back up. So Secret Sister, go ahead and unmute your mic.
No, I was trying to click that waving, and I was giving 2 fingers, but my finger slipped. I apologize.
Yeah, I saw you with your hand up, so I thought you might have had something that you wanted to add real quick. But that note, if anybody wants to add anything else, but if not, I guess we'll get ready to close the space out. We've been going for close to 2 hours here, so like I say, once again, we tried to have another informative space, and I think it was a pretty good discussion that we had. We had a lot of different opinions and whatnot, but pretty much the same conclusion that hey, like Shepard said, like I said, nobody's really checking our own people, and something that's supposed to be a benefit for the entire community. You can't just sit up here and let a handful of people just squander that opportunity. He had the death of black people that galvanized all these protests around the world, but so yeah, we just can't sit up here and just let this kind of issue and stuff go along and whatnot like that. So we have to actually start saying something. $90 million, and none of it was actually used really worthwhile in our community. So something like that, you just can't sit up here and constantly let it go along. We already are the last group in the world to get any kind of funding and donations and stuff like that. So when we do actually have a chance to do it or get it, we need to actually put that money to use. Shepard, go ahead, and I'll go ahead and let you be the last speaker for the night, and then we're going to go ahead and close it out.
Well, that's an honor, brother. So yeah, let's just look at what we covered. Let's just recap. We got one train of thought who's saying, hey, this is the majority of the white man's money. Hell yeah, if somebody takes that money and, as long as they does something good with it, then they good. Got another train of thought, says this is the people's money, even though it was white donors, it was black donors too. There's a certain amount of trust and responsibility, accountability that comes with accepting that money. You have now a duty. You have been deputized for the Black movement. You have another train of thought who doesn't see any value in the symbolism of the slogans. We've always had slogans. V for victory. The people. Power to the people. It's nation time. All of the slogans. Yeah, we've always, so Black Lives Matter came in at a slogan needed time. And even if the organization is corrupt, I think it's going to be very difficult to erase that slogan so embedded in the culture right now. So I think we'll have to divorce that slogan from the misrepresentation and the theft of the slogan holder, and we may never get rid of that. So, and the last, I guess, train of thought is the future. Like, okay, so we know all the trains of thought and where they leaving it, the stations we don't want to go to. Now, what do we do about it? And that's kind of always the cloudy, and everybody gave good ideas. So I think it was a good build overall, and I appreciate being able to speak. You know, I rock with you, Newstoter and Dollar Bill. You know, I rock with y'all.
Brooklyn.
You already know.
Yeah, no doubt. Ray and DJ, I'll let y'all go ahead and one of y'all go ahead and get your final word in, and then we'll go ahead and close the space out for the night.
So, DJ, is that going to be your new page, or is that just a temp right now?
Attempt today, shut it down again. You already know. Then I'll make another one. But yeah, come on, follow your boy. We're about to have a space right after this because I got some shit to say. You know, nigga been off the mic for a minute.
Other than that, man, appreciate y'all coming out, man. I'm gonna see y'all on the next one. And if anyone did donate to help my cousin with their funeral, I just want to let you know that I do appreciate it. And once again, I want to be very clear: not one penny of this is going to me at all. This is directly from you to her to help her out. So I appreciate y'all.
Definitely, Ray. And I'll go ahead. I'm gonna donate something when we get ready to get off of here. But once again, thank everybody for coming out again tonight. We'll have another interesting discussion tomorrow night. I'm leaving that topic. I'll probably give you guys tweet it out around by 11, 12 o'clock. I'm sure it'll be something worthwhile, worth discussing as always. So I just want to go ahead and let y'all know that we're gonna have some interesting topics this week. And I think we'll have some good conversation around all of the topics that we're going to be doing. So now I'm trying to hold out the topics before I actually tweet it out, because sometimes I see other spaces jump on it. But, regardless, we still going to have a conversation. So I'll go ahead and we'll make sure that everybody gets their notification. Go ahead, and when we send it out, go ahead and just hit select on that as well. I mean, hit I think I hit set already, or set. Ray, you got something you wanted to say?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask you why the space on Saturday get canceled.
Man, I was so busy Saturday with the football space. I'm going to come back and do it this Saturday. I was so busy. I just did not have time, man. I was like, I canceled at the last minute. I was like, well, I knew I was going to, I just didn't have time. I was looking the day before. I'm like, it's going to be very, very, very hard to make this space. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do a Saturday football space. So everybody that's in here, we are going to do a Saturday football space. I wish we had done it last week, but it was just so busy. I had so many different things going on. So I'm going to definitely go ahead and make up for it this weekend here, though. But on that note, everybody, once again, thank everybody for coming out to the space. We'll see you tomorrow night. You guys know you can always catch us 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if you can't catch the actual Twitter space live, you can always catch a recording, because we always record the spaces. So you can always go back and check out what was said. So on that note, I hope everybody had a great Labor Day. You guys make sure you stay safe. We'll see you tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So see you guys until then. So y'all have a good night.
Please come on over to the next room, y'all. Let's go.